Hi. So, what we're going to focus on right now is how to close a client start from Profiler. Okay, so you would only do this if all the proper procedures have already been followed. Some programs require that we send them a letter. There's usually also a note involved that we call the cost center release. So, before you do this process, you just want to make sure that all the loose ends are tied up and we've done everything that we need to do in order to close a person. We've done all those steps that are required beforehand. If you're not sure what those steps are or how it applies to your particular program, just please reach out and contact me, and I would be happy to provide those details for you and make sure you're on the right track. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up the individual's chart. I'm going to do that by clicking on the navigator button. Okay, and I am going to close some of Tina Testing's programs. Again, she is a fictional training client that we have created solely for the purpose of testing. Okay, so this is no real information on any person will ever be displayed for our purposes here. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to select the person's chart, as we've done here. Most people only have one company. However, because Tina Testing has been a practice client for a long time, and you may notice this on our individuals who've been with us since before we started our electronic health record in 2012, that some people will have two companies. If that's the case, you want to make sure you've selected the active one. Okay. Same thing with the episode. Someone might have multiple episodes if they have been with us several times, left the CSB and returned. So again, I want to click on the drop down to the right of the episode and select active. Okay. Now, this process is very easy, but you need to get the details right. Okay, they're very important, because we could accidentally close them out to the wrong program, and then that would mess up those services for that particular program. So you want to be extremely cautious doing this next step. Where it says cost center location at that particular level, okay, we're going to click on the drop down to the right. And again, Tina Testing needs a lot of cleanup, right? We've been practicing on her a lot. So she has very many charts open that she does not need. Okay, so this is a great opportunity for us to practice. So I'm going to select the one I want. You need to make sure before you proceed that the program you want to close is in this particular drop down. You want to see the name of it in the cost center location slot. If a program that you do not work in is in that slot, you're going to accidentally close them out from the wrong thing. So I can't emphasize this enough. Please make sure, double and triple check that you have the right program in this slot. Okay. So now we're just going to select the button called Profile of Cost Center Location. Okay, I'll wait for that to load. Looks like I was the one who actually opened up this particular record. Okay. So there is a tab called the Discharge tab. And I'll tell you, only supervisors have access to this. Supervisors and other designated individuals who have been given special permission to access these fields. Not every single staff does have access to this. So if you need additional access, or your supervisor has asked you to close a chart, and when you click on this Discharge tab, you cannot see these fields, please let me know and let your supervisor know, and we'll coordinate to make sure you have the right access. Okay, so we're going to select the discharge date. The date and time are crucial here. Our system is very date driven. If there is a progress note in Profiler for today's date, today's June 11th, 11:45 a.m. It will give us an error and will not let us close the chart. It has to let all existing notes process. Okay. So you want to make sure that this discharge date and time is a date and time that is after all notes that exist under this particular program. And that makes sense, right? Okay, so like if I did a note at 10 a.m. to close this chart, I'm not going to be able to put a discharge date of yesterday because my closure note is in there for today. Okay. Now, the discharge reason is very important. We're required to fill this out for our state reporting metrics. Okay, the state requires us. So based off of the discharge note that would have already been completed either by you or another staff, you select the option that makes the most sense. The most frequently used ones are lost to contact, moved out of area, treatment completed. Okay, you choose the one that fits the most. Let me call to your attention though, the ones that say ITCN or for the infant and toddler program of Norfolk. Okay, so that's for our infant program. So you cannot select these unless you happen to be working in that particular program. Okay, otherwise it will not report out correctly. Okay, so I'm going to say that we're closing Tina because she was lost to contact. The discharge disposition, I believe that field is blank. Some people will select a little discharge note here, okay? Now, if you've already done your discharge note in the program, you don't have to duplicate that here. So this field is optional. You can either add a little bit of information there or you can leave it entirely blank. It should be in your discharge note. And here's your discharge reason. Excuse me. Then you just click save. And we're going to wait. We're going to wait for it to save and process all the way through. Come on. Okay. So then after this saves, at some point, it's being a little slow. There we go. This program will stamp a date on the treatment plan, 6/12/2020. That's tomorrow, okay? It lets that plan close at midnight. Now, if I refresh, excuse me, if I refresh and I go and I find my episode, okay, it's got that date stamped here. This will catch up. It will close it with the date. It will stamp it on its own. You can also close out of the client chart and reopen it if you want to double check, and that will follow through. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to catch up, but that's really all there is to it. Okay, I can show you again because Tina has a lot of programs that can be closed. You select the one you want to close. I'm going to choose FICAP. We don't do that program anymore. I've double and triple checked. This is the program that I want to close. Click Profile of Cost Center Location. Discharge tab. Select the date and time that I am discharging the individual from the program. Select a reason. We'll say treatment complete. There is a choice for other reason not listed if you don't find one that fits. Then we click save. Excellent. Okay, that saved a little faster this time. Now, sometimes your program is the last program standing in the list. Obviously, in Tina's case, there are very many programs still open. Okay, you would not do this next step if your individual is still open to other programs. Okay, if they're not, your program is the last one to be closed out for the person. You want to go up to the episode level. Okay, So we're still in the same one, we're still in the active one. We've closed the program that we wanted to close. Now we're going to close them from the episode. This entire episode of their treatment is closing out because there are no other programs that remain open for this person and they have left the Community Services Board. Okay. We go to Profile an Episode. It's the very same process, you're just on a separate tab, closing out the episode in addition to the program. Click Discharge, give it a discharge date, Discharge Reason. It's usually the same reason that you closed the last program for. These fields right here, summary of care, are not active as of today's date, which is June 11th, 2020, when I'm recording this video. You may be given further instructions later on down the line for this, but for now, we don't have to do that. It hasn't been rolled out yet. I'm going to select Save. I might get an error message, let's see, because there's a lot of programs in there. Now, okay, so here's another thing too. If I close the episode and there are other programs open, it is also, again, going to shut down all of those other programs in addition to the one that I am trying to close. So you just want to make sure that you're only closing the episode when all the other programs are closed and this person has actually left the CSB and they're not getting any more active services from us. Okay? So very easy, straightforward process. Just really make sure you're double checking your details because you could accidentally close out the wrong program. If you get any error messages, anything comes up that you're not exactly sure of, please be sure to reach out to me and I would be more than happy to troubleshoot this for you. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day.